Ipaliwanag mo sa akin! Magsabi ka sa akin! Ipaliwanag mo dahil hindi ko naiintindihan! Pepsi, sumagot ka! Nirape ka ba ni Vic Soto? Ah!
Hey guys, what's up? My name is Sean Winning. Today, tara pag-usapan natin itong matinding magiging laban ng ating kaibigan na si Direk Daryl Yap. No? So, because of the teaser, nagkaroon po ng reaction itong si Bossing Vic Soto. At ano naging reaction niya? Excuse me. Dumidigay. Ano ang naging reaction ni Bossing Vic kay Direk Daryl? Walang iba kung hindi 19 counts of cyber libel kay Bossing Vic. Panoorin natin yung balita kanina.
Finally, parang kinain nyo na ito after lumabas noong January 1 ng malicious teaser umano ng pelikula. Na-mention in your name.
Kasi maraming nagtatanong sa akin kung anong reaction ko. A lot of people have been asking me, what's your reaction? Ito na po yun. This is my reaction. O naman, may mga katanungan kayo, si Atty. Boko na sasagot.
Bilang isang, of course, paligid ng showbiz industry, gano'ng kahalaga na gumagawa tayo ng mga ganitong hakbang pagka may ganitong mga lumalabas that seems to be an attack to your person?
Ako, wala naman akong pinapersonal. But I'm just against irresponsible people, lalo na sa social media. Kaya nga ako, hindi ako sumasagot in any social media o sa television o sa ano. I think this is a right venue to answer para sumagot sa lahat ng issue.
And how, Ulina, were you supporting Bossing?
Oh, all the way. All the way. No questions asked.
We saw na hindi mo binubura yung mga screenshot, no? You're so
we have evidence of everything.
Napakahalaga rin.
Of course.
How are you right now?
Okay. We're okay. We're just praying, and of course we trust naman the justice system in the Philippines.
Laban lang no?
So ayun, that is just one of the many videos na nakuha natin, ano. Ano pa ba yung iba dyan? Na nakuha natin. Ayan.
Ba kayong apology from Daryl Yap or anyone from the Philippines?
Sa ngayon, ginawa lang namin ng nararapat. Kung ano yung nararamdaman ko. Ito na po yun. Nakalagay na po, nakasulat na po lahat sa papel. Napigmahan ko na. Nakapag-okay na ako sa fiscal. Kung ano man ang mangyayari susunod, yun po ang aabangan na.
Bossing, may damages na pera.
Okay po lang. Si Atty. De la Cruz ang...
Bossing, message na lang sa family.
Apa.
Family niyo. Pepsi Paloma. Meron po ba?
Anyway, yan, mahina internet natin eh. For some reason. Wait nga. Okay, I hope this one mas better yung ating internet connection. Anyway, alam nyo, itong kwento ni Pepsi Paloma, napakatagal na. Puntahan natin yung video ni Kaalaman. Okay? So, meron isang video rito si Kaalaman. 3 years ago, 2.5, 2.7 views na ang video na ito. And most probably by now, marami na rin nanonood ulit nito. Tara at panoorin natin. And even before we get into this, there's another video coming from someone, Dark Asia with Megan. No, the tragic life of Philippine most controversial young actress. Si Pepsi Paloma rin yung topic niya rito. And yung video niya nag-run ng about 18 minutes. Balik muna tayo dito kay Kaalaman.
Limang may tumawag sa pangalan ko. Isang
Pepsi Paloma at Ispolarium, dalawang sobrang magkaibang salita at tagos hanggang kabilang globo ang pagkalayo.
Ito tanong natin dyan, even before natin i-play ng matagal to. Noong time ba na nilabas ito ni Kaalaman, si Kaalaman din ba ay nakatanggap ng kaso? Hinayinan din ba siya ng kaso ni Vic Soto? Kasi sa totoo lang, I'm not taking any side, but una, I have nothing against bossing Vic Soto. Wala tayong ano dyan. Dahil unang-una sa lahat, for starters, definitely, nung time na nangyayari ito, musmus pa lang ako. Wala pa akong alam sa mundo. No? Kung ano man ang nilalabas ng panahon na yon about sa news ni Pepsi Paloma, yun lang pong alam natin. Pero, may mga survivor si Pepsi Paloma. Andyan ang kanyang nanay, andyan ang kanyang kapamilya. Hindi rin natin alam kung ano ang alam ng pamilya niya tungkol sa nangyari dito kay Pepsi Paloma. Sa totoo lang, first time kong narinig about sa kwento ni Pepsi Paloma was because of the kanta ng E-Heads. Yung Spolarium. Was it Spolarium? Yeah, Spolarium. Diba? Naging controversial din ang Spolarium. Kasi nga, idinidikit sa naging eksena ng buhay ni Pepsi Paloma. Diba? So, saan ko ba dinadala? Saan ko kayo dinadala rito sa pag-uusap na to? Isa lang. Yung ikakwento ba ni Direk Daryl Yap, bago sa atin? Siguro may mga bagay na bago. Pero karamihan, most probably, okay? Karamihan, most probably, nang nilalagay niya sa kanyang pelikula is something na general knowledge na. Public knowledge, kumbaga. Marami ng taong nakakaalam niyan. Lalong-lalo na yung mga kaedadan ni Pepsi Paloma nung panahon na nangyari lahat to.
Layo ng ibig sabihin nila sa isa't isa, pero ipinagdidikit pa rin ng madla. Ito na rin siguro ang maituturing na pinakasikat na urban legend, for a lack of a better term, dito sa Pilipinas. Pero ano nga ba ang totoong kwento sa likod ng lahat ng ito na kahit 2021 na ay marami pa rin sa ating mga Pinoy ang naniniwala na ang dalawang sikat ngayon sa telebisyon dahil ang isa ay sumakabilang buhay na ay walang awang. Alam nyo na, sa isang babae na may pangalang Pepsi Paloma.
Hindi man niya pinangalanan, hindi man pinangalanan ng narrator ng Kaalaman. We all know kung sino yung dinidescribe dyan. This is 3 years ago. Am I trying to justify Direk Daryl Yap here? No. Kasi even before yan naging pelikula, naglilinger na ang story ni Pepsi Paloma. I don't know kung ilang taon tong si Direk Daryl. I think he's younger than me. Pero kasi when it comes to Direk Daryl, ito lang ma-assure ko sa inyo. Hindi yan tumatrabaho ng walang mga researcher. Hindi yan gagawa ng pelikula kung hindi maghahanap or rather, ipare-review niya sa mga abogado kung meron man or magkakaroon man ng legal implication ang kanyang mga pelikula. One very good example, yung Malacanang, yung Made in Malacanang, The Marcos Story. 3 folds pa nga yun, 2 pa lang nagagawa ni Direk. Lahat yan, pinadaan niya definitely sa mga abogado to review. What makes you think, what makes everyone think na hindi ito pinadaan ni Direk Daryl sa mga abogado? Maselan kasi itong kwentong to eh. Sa sobrang selan, mabibigat na mga tao ang involved dito. At dahil dyan, mas lalo tayong napapaisip. Baka kaya walang nangyari sa ikinaso ni Pepsi Paloma noon dahil mabibigat na tao ang binabangga niya. The same way na nangyayari ngayon kay Direk Daryl. Diba? Oh. Tara, panoorin natin.
Yan ang pag-uusapan natin dito lang sa channel na kung ikaw ay may kaalaman, hinding-hindi ka malalamangan. And the story goes like this.
At ngayon, di pa rin alam kung ba't tayo
Sometimes projects can involve multiple
This video exists solely for the thought-provoking means. Ang lahat ng impormasyon na makikita o malalaman dito.
Okay. Ayon na nga kay kaalaman. Kung babalikan natin yung disclaimer niya. No? Pakinggan natin.
Exist solely for the thought-provoking means. Ang lahat ng impormasyon.
Now, anong pinagkaiba nitong video na to sa pelikula ni Direk Daryl? For starters, hindi pa natin alam yung pinakabuong kwento ng pelikula ni Direk Daryl. But definitely, it is a thought-provoking din. The way I see it, no? Based on sa trailer, it is a thought-provoking. Bakit sa tingin nyo, no? Bakit sa tingin nyo, yung portion na yon, ng eksena na yon, ang pinili ni Direk Daryl as a teaser? Simple lang. Because of that. The same mantra, the same goal. Gusto niya maging thought-provoking. Yun yung para sa akin. Yun yung the way ko nakita. Kasi ganun si Direk Daryl. Pero hindi natin madedefine as far as the movie, the storyline is concerned. Hindi natin pwedeng sabihin, okay, na yung kabuuan na ng storya tungkol sa paano ni-rape ni Vic Soto, ni Bossing Vic, itong si Pepsi Paloma. The trailer can be taken out of context. This is one thing that I'd learned so bad, na it's always easy for us to make judgment dun sa kakarampot, no? Kakarampot na linyang yun. We don't even know kung ano yung sumunod na nangyari. Nagkaroon lang ng tanungan kung ni-rape ba siya ni Bossing Vic. Sumagot siya ng oo. Hindi natin nakita kung anong naging reaction ni Gina Alahar after that. Diba? Diyan magaling si Direk Daryl. Sa thought-provoking. Yun nga lang, iba yung nangyari. Sa sobrang galing niya, pagdating sa bagay na yan, iba ang nangyari. Move
Masyon
forward.
na makikita o malalaman dito sa video ay existing na sa iba't ibang sources online at pinagsama-sama ko na lang.
Exactly. I think it's the same, no, with Direk Daryl. Yun nga lang, nagkaroon siya ngayon ng access sa pamilya ni Pepsi Paloma na mas lalo niyang maja-justify. 'Di ba? Kung bakit niya ginawa yung movie. Ulitin natin, hindi natin pwedeng i-define ang kabuuan ng isang movie dahil lang sa isang teaser. Hindi natin alam yung pinakakwento. Pwedeng yung part, here's the thing, no? Pwedeng yung part, it is a conversation between the character of Pepsi Paloma and that person, which is si Gina Alahar. Okay? Pwedeng nagkakaroon sila ng confrontation, pwedeng ang nangyari, itinanong nga kung sino nag-rape sa kanya, whether si Vic Soto ba or whoever. And then eventually, iba pala yung eksena. Iba pala yung susunod na part ng movie. Diba? Oh.
Lang para mas madali nating maintindihan ang buong kwento sa likod ng infamous na storya ni Pepsi Paloma featuring Vic Soto, Joey De Leon, Richie De Horsey at Senator Tito Soto.
San Juan.
Alam nyo, here's the thing, no? Kahit pa sabihin na lang natin walang Direk Daryl movie about kay Pepsi Paloma. Sino ba sa atin, lalo na sa mga lumaki na with the TVJ, ang hindi nakarinig ng kwentong ito? Kasi hodang ito ba ay urban legend or what? Sino? Sino sa atin ang hindi nakarinig nito? For the longest time, ito nga 3 years ago, for the longest time, they never react. They never react. Until gumawa ng movie si Direk Daryl.
Badi maraming
Ang tanong dyan, bakit ngayon lang? Bakit hindi kayo nag-react noon? Bakit hindi nyo pinatay ang kwento na nasasangkot kayong TVJ kay Pepsi Paloma? Bakit hinayaan nyo na magstay yan, maglinger yan, 'di ba? Pero ngayon lang kayo gumagawa ng aksyon para pigilan ng mga bagay na to. Yun yung mga tanong na gusto nating malaman kung ano yung sagot, 'di ba?
Petro istoryang ito ang dapat nating isaalang-alang para malaman kung saan nga ba nagsimula ang lahat. Mula sa kanta ng Eraserheads na Spolarium hanggang sa maalamat na di umano paghingi ng tawad ng 3 sa publiko at ang pahayag ng magkabilang kampo tungkol sa issue. And what better way para simulan ng buong istoryang ito kundi alamin muna natin ang kwento mismo ng babae na nagngangalang Pepsi Paloma. Now, marami sa atin na ang alam na tunay na pangalan ng babaeng ito ay si Pepsi Paloma. Simple as that. Pero sa mabilis na Google search ay malalamang ang tunay na pangalan niya ay Delia Dueñas Smith. And you're right, it sounds like an American name. Half Filipino, half Amerikano kasi siya. Now kung nagtatanong ka naman kung saan nakuha ang pangalang Pepsi Paloma, ay noon kasama siya sa isang grupo na kung tawagin ay Soft Drinks Beauty. And you bet, minsan nyo na rin sigurong narinig ang papuri sa isang babae na hugis Coke o bote ng soft drinks ang kanyang katawan. Dahil alam nyo na, sexy nga sila. And legend says na dito nagsimula ang sikat na papuri na uy, ang sexy naman nun pre, parang bote ng Coke ang katawan. Anyway, may 3 miyembro noon ang Soft Drinks Beauty, namely Jonalie Hickins aka Coca Nicolas, Maria Jennifer aka Sarce Emanuel, and of course, Delia Dueñas aka Pepsi Paloma. Alam nyo ba di ang taon kung kailan nagkaroon ng tunog ang pangalan ng 3 ay ang masasabi kong golden age ng mga lalaking nagpapatangkad? You wanna know why? Dahil noon ay slim tunan ang restriction ng mga tao sa mga bagay na ipinapalabas nila sa sinihan. Magpakita ng walang damit sa itaas, no big deal. Magpakita ng walang suot na pang-ibaba, no big deal. Magpakita ng mga bagay na ginagawa ng mga matatanda pero pati mga bata ngayon ay ginagawa na rin, no big deal. And I'm like, if I could turn back time to the good old days, baka tumangkad na rin ako. Don't believe me, nasa Google ang sarsa. Basically, ang grupong ito, buddy, ay ginawa para punan ang industriya na kung tawagin noon ay bomba films o in layman's term, bold. And at the early age of 14 years old ay gumagrind na si Pepsi Paloma pa extra sa mga pelikulang ganito para pantustos sa kanyang pangangailangan. And you know, may pera noon pagdating sa mga ganitong pakulo sa sinihan at masasabi kong successful siya sa kanyang karir. But fast forward tayo, buddy, contrary to the many belief ay hindi kasama si Tito Soto sa orihinal na aligasyon ni Pepsi Paloma kundi sina Vic Soto, Joey De Leon at Ricardo Reyes o mas kilala sa tawag na Richie De Horsey na kilalang aktor at komedyan ang idinadawit ni Pepsi sa kaso.
So basically, totoo na nag-file ng kaso itong si Pepsi Paloma. Tama? Okay. Now, bakit siya nag-file ng kaso? Yun yung isa sa pinakamalaking tanong natin. Bakit siya nag-file ng kaso? Bakit hindi natuloy ang pagkakaso? Bakit nag-apologize ang TVJ kay Pepsi Paloma? Diba? Anong ginawa ng TVJ para mag-apologize? You can just do the math. As simple as that. Nag-file ng kaso, nag-apologize. Kung wala kayong kasalanan, bakit may magpo-file ng kaso? Bakit may mag-apologize? Kung wala kayong ginawang mali at that time, di ba? Imagine niyo, sino ang mag-aakala na etong panahon na to, merong isang Daryl Yap ang magkakaroon ng interes, buhayin ang kwento ni Pepsi Paloma. Hindi nga pinag-uusapan dito yung kwento ng buhay niya as a whole. There's one specific part ng buhay niya ang pinag-uusapan or pag-uusapan. Doon lang sa title ng movie ni Direk Daryl. May binanggit bang pangalan? Wala. Another question. Meron bang try si Direk Daryl na i-resolve na kaso? Kahit patay na si Pepsi Paloma. That we're not sure. Pero for him to have an interest about the life story of Pepsi Paloma specific to that event, the way I see it, hindi na para pagkakitaan niya eh. Baka siya mismo gusto niyang masagot ang matagal ng tanong ng maraming Pilipino.
Legend says na sa isang hotel na kung tawagin ay Solo Hotel ay minsang.
By the way, no, itong kwento ni Kalaman, this is not the first time na narinig ko to. Marami nang nagkwento, pare-pareho lang ang sinasabi. Why very consistent?
Nagkita-kita ang magkabilang kampo. And don't ask me why. Mind you, 14 years old pa lang noon si Pepsi at nasa 30s naman ang tatlo at nasa tugatog ng kanilang kasikatan. And you know, kung sikat ka at marami kang pera ay isang pitik mo lang ay magagawa mo na ang lahat ng iyong naisin. I will not go into details sa kung ano ang nangyari noong gabing yun o noong araw na yun, pero basically, may hawakan, takutan.
Hello everyone, I am Sally.
Tatlo kay Pepsi Paloma ng sabay-sabay. You get the point. Not to mention ay may kasama pa noon si Pepsi Paloma na may pangalang Guada Guarin na kaparehong nakaranas ng hindi maganda sa tatlo. Ngayon, nang mangyari ang lahat ng ito kay Pepsi ay gumawa naman siya ng hakbang 10 ng kanyang manager na si Ray de la Cruz para maparusahan ng tatlo. Nagpadala si Pepsi sa noon Defense Minister na si Juan Ponce Enrile at idinitalye niya ang lahat ng nangyari. However, in the...
Buhay pa si Enrile. My question is, nakausap ba ni Direk Daryl Yap si Enrile?
Same year, 1982 matapos pumutok ang issue ay either si Vic Soto o si Tito Soto ay di umano inayang makipag-usap muli si Pepsi Paloma para hindi na lumaki pa ang issue at matapos na ang lahat. Pumayag naman dito si Pepsi Paloma kasama ang kanyang magulang at ang desisyong ito, buddy, ay ang...
Take note, nakipag-usap di umano si Pepsi Paloma kasama ang kanyang magulang. Sino ang nakausap ni Direk Daryl tungkol sa issue na to? Di ba may post si Direk Daryl? I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. Sa loob ng 14 taon, pinakinggan at pinaniwalaan nyo na ang mga sikat. Na may mga pangalan, may mga kapangyarihan, mga nagsalitang sila ay may alam. Mga nagsasabing sila ay kaibigan. Ngayon, bigyan natin ng pagkakataon ang inang nananahimik ng napakatagal na panahon, ang inang matapos mawalan ng anak at patuloy na nasasaktan sa mga paratang at paghuhusga. Tapos na ang pananahimik ng nakakabatang kapatid ni Pepsi na nooy 15 years old lamang. Kasama ng aktres hanggang sa mismong araw nang siya ay natagpo ang walang buhay sa loob ng aparador. Mananahimik ang kasinungalingan dahil walang kamatayan ang katotohanan. Sila naman ang magsasalita. Sila naman ang magkukwento, pamilya higit sa lahat. The mother. The brother. So sino ulit ang kasama ni Pepsi Paloma? Noong naipag-usap sa TVJ, di ba, magulang? Balik tayo kay Kaalaman.
Siyang babago sa takbo ng kaso.
At ngayon, di pa rin alam kung bakit.
Sa loob ng bahay habang patuloy ang meeting ng dalawang kampo ay walang ano-ano'y inilabas ni Tito or Vic Soto ang kanyang sandata. Isang baril na nakatutok kay Pepsi. Kasama nito ang isang bond paper. Ang bond paper ay isang affidavit of desistance. Isa itong sulat, buddy, kung saan pag pinirmahan ng isang umaakusa sa isang individual ay mawawalan ng
Again, ito bang si Kaalaman? Sinampahan din ng kaso ng mga Soto. Pero tandaan nyo, sinabi sa disclaimer ni Kaalaman na lahat ng nandito sa loob ng video niya is available online ang mga information. Public knowledge. Hindi ito isang bagay na inimbento niya lang. Yan ang sabi niya sa disclaimer, ha?
Isa ang kung anumang kaso ang isinampa niya sa korte. And legend says na kahit anong gawing pagpupumilit na pirmahan ito ni Pepsi ay hindi siya pumapayag. Dito ngayon papasok ang kanyang magulang at di umano siya ang pumirma in behalf of Pepsi Paloma sa takot na may mangyaring hindi maganda sa kanila. We can say na parang parental consent ang ginawa ng kanyang ina at sinasabing bilang magulang ni Pepsi Paloma at wala pa siya sa tamang edad para magdesisyon ay sumasang-ayon ako. Ako na lang ang pipirma sa kung anumang nakasaad sa affidavit of desistance. And the rest is history. Alam nyo, buddy, habang umuusad noon ang kaso ay walang ibang sinabi ang tatlo sa media kundi ang lahat ng alegasyon ay walang katotohanan. However, in as fast as 3 months matapos ang nasabing pirmahan ng Affidavit of Desistance ay once and for all nagsalita na ang tatlo tungkol sa kaso at live pa ito sa telebisyon. Specifically sa The People's Journal na isang tabloid noong October 13, 1982 kung saan inaamin nila na may kung anong nagawa silang pagkakamali noong araw na yon at inaanyayahan ang mga tao na mag-move on na lang. And I quote, "We therefore ask you to find it in your heart to pardon us for the wrong which we have done."
작전 개시. 이들은 누구니?
TCI.
Okay, focus tayo dito. Bakit sa tingin nyo sinabi ito? We therefore ask you to find it in your heart to pardon us for the wrong which we have done against you. So ano tong wrong? Diba? For the wrong which we have done. So may admission, di ba? Kaya ang tanong natin, ano to? Mga public personality kayo eh. Hindi ba dapat alam natin lahat? Kung ano ba tong ginawa ninyo? Para saan itong pag-apologize nung panahon na yan?
But there's a catch. You see, ang quote-unquote apology statement ng tatlo ay non-existent sa internet. Wala tayong tangible evidence sa bagay na ito. We need to consider na 1980s nangyari ang lahat at iilang pelikula lang o mga video ang nakasurvive at sa kabutihang palad ay nai-upload sa internet para ating panoorin. You see, maituturing kong lost media ang bagay na ito dahil marami ang claim ng mga nakakatanda sa atin ang sinasabi na napanood nila ang apology video ng tatlo noong 1980s. And yes, some of us born before that pero malamang hindi natin alam yon o maaalala, hindi na natin maalala yon. Hindi tayo interesado kasi sa issue noon dahil well, bata pa tayo. But that could change kung in some way, shape or form ay may makahanap ng video statement na ito lalo na may exact date tayo kung kailan nangyari ang apology statement. And the purpose of this is we can finally put a nail in a coffin at sabihin na yes, hindi man natin mapapatunayan na may nangyari nga ang GB noong gabing yon o noong araw na yon, pero masasabi nating may pagkakamali silang tatlo sa dalaga. We just don't know what. Alam nyo ba, di sinubukan ko namang halukayin ng Google para makakuha ng kahit na voice o video man lang ng paghingi nila ng sorry but nada, zero. And I'm asking the whole community, may assignment kayo ngayon na kung maaari ay baka naman pwedeng pakitanong sa inyong mga magulang kung may naaalala nga ba sila noong issue tungkol kay Tito Soto, Vic Soto, Joey De Leon at Richie De Horsey at Pepsi Paloma kung saan nag-public apology ang tatlo. Gusto ko sanang makakuha ng general consensus sa bagay na ito. Mag-iwan lamang ng comment sa ibang bahagi ng video. At siguro ba dyan na matatapos ang video?
Again, this is not the only video that we have available. There's another video here. No? About Pepsi Paloma.
Delia Dueñas-Smith was born on March 11th, 1966, to a Filipino mother, Lydia Dueñas, and an American father, Kenneth Smith. As the first child in her family, Delia was cherished deeply, even when she later had 3 siblings. But their happy family life was disrupted when their father unexpectedly left and never returned. In the absence of their father, the children relied heavily on their mother. Lydia, a woman of strong character and immense love for her children, was made by Pepsi Paloma, a rising star at the time. She accused 3 well-known entertainers, Vic Soto, Joey De Leon, and Richie De Horsey, of sexually assaulting her. She also claimed that her co-star, Guaraguarin, was assaulted next to her. This shocking news quickly garnered widespread attention, with many people seeking confirmation of the story. Pepsi recounted that the incident occurred in June 1982, following their appearance on the comedy show Iskul Buko. According to Pepsi, the assault took place after the show's taping had concluded. She described a harrowing scene where her blouse was forcibly torn open by the men, who then took turns kissing and touching her. She specifically noted that Vic Soto restrained her hands, making it easier for the others to exploit her. The allegations continued to deepen later that evening. After the assault at the broadcast city, Pepsi Paloma and Guarin were reportedly taken to the Sulo Hotel, close to the broadcasting center. In room 210 of the hotel, the girls were allegedly drugged and assaulted again by the same three men.
So here, parang lumalabas, no? Doon pa lang sa studio, hinalay na sila. Okay? Then, dinala pa sa Solo Hotel. So, iba naman yung version na to. Okay? So, let's continue.
Disturbingly, it was reported that photographs were taken during this assault. This scandal became a major issue when the complaint, filed by the talent managers, reached the then Defense Minister of the Philippines. The accused hosts, however, vehemently denied these allegations, presenting a completely different version of events. In late September 1982, Who magazine published an article that included statements from the accused trio, as well as Vic Soto's brother, Tito Soto. Tito Soto contended that the situation was actually the reverse of what was alleged. He claimed it was not a case of the men taking advantage of the girls, but rather the girls initiating advances towards the men. According to this version, after the taping of the comedy show, Pepsi and Guarin unexpectedly asked the three hosts for souvenir photos of the boys kissing them. They reportedly went to a dressing room where Tito Soto was resting, prepared to receive a massage after a long day of recording. From there, Tito alleged that he observed the girls willingly engaging in kisses with the trio. Amid this controversy, photographs became a crucial piece of evidence. During an interview, Tito described two photographs taken that day. One picture depicted Vic Soto wearing sunglasses, kissing Pepsi. In this photo, Pepsi's hand was around Vic's neck, and her facial expression did not indicate distress. But another photo showed Joey De Leon kissing Pepsi, where the embrace appeared awkward. In this image, Pepsi seemed uncomfortable and appeared to be trying to disengage from Joey's kiss and embrace. Tito Soto noted that at that moment, Pepsi was chewing bubblegum and seemed to want to spit it out first. Tito Soto also challenged the claim that Pepsi's blouse had been torn. He argued that it would have been impossible for such an incident to go unnoticed if she had willingly accompanied the trio to the Sulo Hotel. The crime of this type of sexual assault at the time carried the death penalty in the Philippines. So Tito sought to defend his brother, Vic Soto, in an unusual manner, describing him as physically weak and unable to win an arm wrestling match against a woman, arguing that Vic was too frail to overpower women. While Tito Soto was fervently trying to protect his brother's reputation, Joey De Leon seemed to be taking a different approach.
Want to go somewhere?
Pay attention, even making a sarcastic gesture towards Pepsi by wearing a specific shirt. In a particularly disturbing claim, he mentioned an encounter with a store clerk who allegedly expressed her wish to have been the one assaulted instead of Pepsi. It seemed that none of these men showed remorse or took the situation seriously. Instead, they pushed Pepsi to tell the truth. But realistically, what could a teenage girl do when public opinion favored the perpetrators? Rene Cayetano, the private prosecutor for the case, was ready to take the case to court. But just before it started, Pepsi Paloma disappeared. It seemed as if she had vanished. In reality, she had been taken somewhat like a hostage by Bienvenido Ben Ulo Mendoza, an associate of the Soto and Castello families. Luckily, she was later rescued. Despite Benulo's arrest and confession, there is no record that he was ever charged with any crime connected with the abduction of Pepsi Paloma. But 3 months after the alleged incident, there was a notable shift in the trio's stance. They admitted wrongdoing and issued a public apology, which was broadcast on live TV and published in the People's Journal on October 13th, 1982.
Okay, so itong portion na to, dito nagsisynchronize si Dark Asia with Megan at saka si Kaalaman.
In their statement, they acknowledged an error and expressed a desire to move forward. The controversy surrounding Pepsi didn't end there. Later, Pepsi revealed that Tito Soto had approached her with papers to sign, aiming to drop all charges against the accused. Tito reportedly placed the affidavit of desistance on the table, along with a gun.
Okay, again, itong part na to, nagkakapareho si Dark Asia with Megan at saka si Kaalaman.
Intimidating the teenage girl. Some reports suggested that Pepsi or her mother signed the affidavit, depending on which news source you read. Following these events, Pepsi left the entertainment industry and went to Makati with her boyfriend, Roy Rustin. Reports about her activities varied, with some claiming that she was involved in drug abuse and underwent an abortion. But it's unclear how such details were known to the public, given the sensationalized nature of media coverage. In 1983, Pepsi decided to return to the entertainment business. Reports suggested that her physical condition was a concern, as she appeared very thin and fragile. Before making any public appearances, she was cared for in a private clinic arranged by her talent manager, Ray De La Cruz. The torment for Pepsi, or Delia, was far from over. Apart from the physical exploitation she endured, she was also subjected to mental exploitation. Upon her return to showbiz, her debut in The Victim was beyond disturbing. The film capitalized on her own traumatic experience as an assault victim, casting her as the main character. Despite the movie's profitability, the ethical implications remain deeply troubling. Unfortunately, no one seemed to check on Delia's mental well-being. She bore the burden of being the financial provider for her family while grappling with the relentless exploitation of the entertainment industry. This went unnoticed until it was too late. Tragically, on May 31st, 1985, Delia was discovered hanging in her apartment closet in Quezon City. The autopsy suggested that she likely took her own life 5 or 6 hours before being found. The circumstances were heartbreaking, especially considering that her brother and boyfriend were present at the time. Delia's brother, Zaldi White, informed the police.
Zaldi White. Zaldi White.
That they had been having dinner with Delia's boyfriend, 25-year-old Jose Sanchez. After a normal and cheerful lunch, Delia excused herself to the bedroom, mentioning she wanted to take a quick nap. Her last message to her loved ones was not to disturb her sleep, after which she locked her door. Concerned that Delia might oversleep, Jose attempted to call her at 3 p.m., but there was no response, leading them to assume she was still asleep. Zaldi then knocked on her door repeatedly, but to no avail. Despite growing unease, they waited and tried again to contact her. Around 6 p.m., Jose and Zaldi realized that something was terribly wrong. They forcefully kicked down the door, and there she was, already cold. Reportedly, a note believed to be written by Delia before she took her own life was found. It simply stated, "It's a crazy planet." Alongside the note, Delia's personal diary was discovered. In it, Delia expressed that she understood Pepsi Paloma was not her true self, but a persona she had to maintain and accept. The diary also contained records of Delia's financial transactions. The police quickly formulated a theory regarding why the controversial actress took her own life. Delia had to grapple with financial troubles, a lack of significant movie roles.
Anyway. So, now, going back to Derek Darrell's issue. My question to anyone who's watching or who will be watching, ano kayang bago na information dito sa movie ni Derek Darrell? When in fact, pinakitaan ko na kayo ng 2 video saying almost the same thing. Na meron involvement, no? Si Vic Soto at saka si Joey De Leon. Bakit hindi nila kinasuhan yung mga taong yun? Ulitin natin, no? Babalikan natin yung disclaimer ni Kaalaman. Wala pong inimbento yung 2 taong nag-research at saka nag-narrate. Pareho nilang binanggit yung 2 bagay na naging instrumental. Bakit nag-apologize after 3 months si Vic, si Joey? Bakit parehong alam nung 2 researcher or rather nung presenter na meron ngang binigay na affidavit at may pananakot? Sinabi rin nila pareho na lumapit ang pamilya ni Pepsi Paloma kay Enrile. So ano ang bago sa ikukwento ni Derek Darrell? Kung meron man bago, ito ay manggagaling na mismo sa pamilya ni Pepsi Paloma. Will they confirm or deny whatever it is that we know already long before itong movie na ito? Intention ba talaga ni Derek Darrell ang siraan si Vic Soto o si Joey De Leon o si Richie De Horsey or even si Tito Sen? Ulitin natin, ano? We're just trying to find answers here. Wala po tayong sinisiraan sa TVJ. Interesado rin po tayong malaman ang tunay na nangyari kay Pepsi Paloma. At the end of the day, titindigan ko si Derek Darrell Yap. Dahil naniniwala ako, itong taong to, when it comes to true story, hindi yan magagawa ng anything. No? Kung alam nyo lang kung gaano ka-thorough yung ginawa niyang research, nung ginawa niya ang Made in Malacanang and Martyr and Murderer ba yun, Derek? Yun. No? It's not because kaibigan natin si Derek Darrell, but because naniniwala tayo sa ethics niya when it comes to paggawa ng movies na merong tunay na taong involved. Hindi ilalagay ni Derek Darrell Yap ang sarili niya sa alanganin. Lagi niyang susuportahan ang sarili niya ng katotohanan. 'Di ba? Kaya tingnan natin yung naging opinion, ano, even before before we end this video. Ano ang sinabi ng isang lawyer? Ayon kay Attorney Mark Tolentino, my legal view, this news is fake and inaccurate. Tungkol dito. Yan. Ang Muntinlupa Court has ordered Derek Darrell Yap and his representative to take down the teaser and other materials for his film, The Rapist of Pepsi Paloma. The news is fake and inaccurate. The order of the court is to require Derek Darrell Yap to submit to submit his answer or return within 5 days. Walang order ang court na i-take down ng teaser or any materials of the film. Kasi kung ipapa-take down nila yon, that's already a violation of his due process. Okay? Vic Soto has a right to privacy, but it is not absolute. The Supreme Court emphasized that freedom of speech and expression, including film production, is a fundamental right under the 1987 Philippine Constitution. Motion pictures are recognized as a significant medium for communication, and expression and their commercial nature does not diminish this right. While Vic Soto claimed a right to privacy, this right is not absolute, especially for public figures like Bossing Vic Soto. Apart from that, this is a very controversial issue back in the 1980s. A public figure's right to privacy is narrower, particularly regarding their public actions. The rapist of Pepsi Paloma, the movie of Daryl Yap did not constitute an unreasonable intrusion into Vic Soto privacy. The production of the movie of the rapist of Pepsi Paloma should continue, provided it will not explore Vic Soto's private life or intimate details without his consent. The movie of Pepsi Paloma is not about the private life of Bossing Vic. Idol, huwag ka masyadong defensive. Hayaan mo ang taong bayan na manood and sila na ang humusga sa katotohanan. Exactly. Kung ano man yung sinabi rito ni Attorney Mark Tolentino, I agree with him. No? It is not about his private life ang pinag-uusapan. Ang pinag-uusapan natin, it is something that, again, publicly known. Yun lang, tayong mga wala pang alam noong 1982, hindi pa natin to alam. Hindi pa natin naiintindihan to noong mga panahon na nangyayari to. But definitely, yung mga magulang natin, yung mga kaira nila Bossing Vic, sila alam nila to. Uulitin natin, we have nothing against Vic Soto. But I will stand by Direk Daryl Yap dahil naniniwala ako sa kanyang trabaho.